Hello out there, my name is Milesy and welcome to my channel. Today I've got some old line art in the sketchbook. I am in kind of a hurry this week to get the videos up that need to be up and just kind of out of the way, because if you saw my post on the community page and if you saw, what was that, Tuesday's video? Tuesday's video, I think. If you saw that video, you probably know that stuff's getting kind of scary around here, so I wanted to have everything done and ready to go. So this one was kind of a really quick bid to just fill up a sketch page and get a video up. So if it seems slow, that's why, because it was a really short video to begin with, so it's only being sped up at half speed. Anyway, I tried real hard to like that brush pen. This is again the Pigma brush liner that I was using in the last video, or the last art video anyway. And I tried real hard to get to like it. I tried real hard to figure it out, but what I figured out is that my hand is just way too shaky and doesn't really work for my style. There are other styles, I think, where it would work a lot better. I've seen people get some really nice results out of these kind of pens, but I just can't get there. I need better control over the pen that I can get with the brush. I need to be able to put more weight down than I can get with the brush, because I have a really bad tremor in my hands sometimes, and it really seems to come out the most when I'm trying to draw. So unfortunately, I think this is about the end of my brush pen, never to be seen again. But I was also trying out some other things on this piece as well, which is why I didn't really care about the line art, and I just kind of grabbed something old and not super great, because I wanted to try a different type of coloring. I wanted to almost try value painting and see how that worked. I think I should have tried it on something that didn't wind up being completely grayscale. That was a mistake. I probably should have colored him more brown or something, but I wound up just grabbing out my gray markers and then didn't switch to a set with colors for some reason. But I wanted to see if I could come up with something that I really liked without having like that cell shaded style that I normally do. And I came up with something that I think is repeatable. I would just want to make a couple of changes to it, which I will talk about later, but it wasn't bad. I really liked how it turned out. The artwork itself, I'm pretty darn meh on, but you know, it's a piece of 10-year-old line art, so it was never going to be good. I did make some changes to parts of the line art just to make it look a little bit less awkward, but I was kind of going for a werewolf design with this, so he's got a lot of really exaggerated features. His hands and his feet are really exaggerated, and that's kind of what I was going for with it. My husband said he didn't like the big exaggerated hands and feet, but you know, I don't either. I think he's right. It's old art though, so not a whole lot I could say. And that's something I do want to start doing as well. I had my husband go through all my old sketchbooks and told him to pick out some things that he liked that I could redraw. And like I said, I do want to do some sketchbook tours. I'm just not really sure how to, because I did a lot of commission work, and a lot of commission work is not YouTube friendly. So we will see how I can manage to do that, how I can manage to put some of that artwork up on the channel. I'm not entirely sure, but you know, we'll burn that bridge when we get to it, I guess. But this was a lot of fun, even though parts of it really didn't turn out very nice, even though I really didn't like this inking. I think I learned a lot from it. I really liked how the marker work turned out, and I think I want to play around with this some more on some Bristol board so that it can handle a lot more color than I put down on it. I've got some really nice sparkly Bristol board, which I haven't really had the chance to play with. And I think that might be what I do some experimenting with later on. So what I was doing here was I took the lighter shade of gray that I wanted to use, and I was laying that down first, and I think what I would do next time if I tried this again would be to start with the darker gray and move out. But I was kind of trying to get away from just the cell shaded look, and I wanted to get away from masking out my shading first. I wanted to just find the shading with the pen. That's something I really think I need to get better at, is being able to shade and color a lot more confidently than what I have been doing and what I've been used to. I've also found that since I've been experimenting more and trying different styles, I have been using the chisel tips a little bit more than the bullet nibs, which is what I normally use. I think, though, I've also realized, looking at a lot of my older stuff, is I think just because I've been doing these really quick, simple sketchbook pages, I've had a lot more large areas of color to do, so I kind of don't have a whole lot of ability to use that little tiny bullet nib on these great big areas. So the chisel nib, I think, does work better for that. I still really want to find myself some nice brush pens to play with that, but I am not sure. I think I will be able to find them anytime soon. All of the ones that I've found have been water-based, and I've talked about those a little bit and just how not good they are. But I kind of really liked this layering that I was doing. The problem that I noticed right away, though, is that it just turned into multi-step cell shading. Nothing was really blending out, but that did wind up being fixed a little bit later. Also, these markers kind of bled out a little bit, so that made it a little bit difficult to really keep it accurately, and I wonder how many times I can say little bit. But I was trying to get like this multi-step look and just really didn't like how it was turning out at first, and then I realized that I've pretty much covered everything I already did with the dark one and wasn't really working in steps at all. So I was trying to avoid doing that. I think right about here was when I realized that's what was going on. But I'm really curious to see how this method would look with colors and going in the other direction. The problem that I can foresee with going in the other direction, though, starting off with the dark ones and then working light, is that the lighter markers will chew into the darker color underneath and will actually lighten it. That's why I tend to go lighter to dark, so that doesn't happen. So I decided to add a third step, which I think could have been even darker. And this was the one where I was really going through and making sure there were different steps of shade. And this was also the point where my paper in the sketchbook was just giving up. So I'm really looking forward to trying out some new things, either on Bristol or on some mixed media paper, and see how that turns out. And yeah, for some reason, I don't know why I did this, I stuck with gray. So it made it really hard to tell in the end how well it actually worked. But one thing I did notice, because I was coloring over everything, was that when I finally did put the lighter grays down, the stuff underneath, the shading, did really kind of expand out and started looking really good. I also used way too dark of a gray later on, not for this color, but for the next one. It wound up way too dark, and then it just ate all of the shading, so I need to be careful with that. And I think a big part of it is just going to be getting comfortable with my with my colors again and just learning what each color does and how they all work together and how they look. But in the end, like, I don't hate the technique, but I don't like the art. So I think this is something I need to revisit because I feel like it has a lot of potential. It still looks really smooth without being just too smooth and a little too cartoony. And I think that really also helped keep the shading a lot more consistent. So this is definitely something I want to revisit, but yeah, could have been worse, could have been a lot better. I think he turned out really blue, but, you know, whatever. Anyway, this one actually did get completely recorded, and I am going to go off and do the voiceover for Saturday's video, so thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, all that fun stuff, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!